Okay, guys, very welcome back to the show. And today I've got a very, very special guest all the way from New Zealand. It's Amie Donald. You may or may not recognize her from the movie M3GAN. She plays Megan herself. Amie, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. We had a few technical difficulties last time, and I'll just say that I'll put it down. I'm going to take the blame for that one, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So, as I said to you before, anyway, the last two people that I interviewed from New Zealand were both 76-year-old professional wrestlers. And now here you are at the start of your career, while those guys are kind of at the end of their profession. So it's a nice little contrast and lovely to talk to someone from that part of the world.
Thank you.
So look, we're going to kick into your backstory now in a second, but before we start off, I just want to ask, what's your life been like since this movie dropped? Has it just been turned upside down, completely crazy?
It's been really crazy. I didn't expect the movie to go so big, so when it did, it was a big shock to my whole family and me. And everyone's been really supportive and nice, but it's just been really crazy.
Yeah, a little bit overwhelming, maybe.
Yeah.
We're going to take it back a little bit now because I know that you've got a history in dance. So, do you want to tell the viewers that might know about that, what exactly some of your accomplishments are in that field?
So I've been dancing ever since I was 5 years old, and I love it. It's been a big part of my life, and it's helped me get the role of Megan. But I've been dancing since I was 5, and I have represented New Zealand all across the world. I went to the Dance World Cup in Portugal representing New Zealand, and I got a bronze and silver, and I'm the first New Zealander to ever bring back any medals, which was really cool. And I represented the world for international dance technique. That was awesome, and I've won the New Zealand and Australian nationals.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And how did the decision to go into acting, how did that come about for you?
Well, my dance teacher, she was always telling me that I needed to get an agent and go for like some roles. And she said I always had a good acting side to my dancing, and she was always telling me to go get an agent. And for the longest time, we were kind of like, that's not really what we're gonna do. But then one day we decided, yeah, we'll try it out. And it was so much fun. I loved it. And it's taken me all the way to M3GAN, which is amazing.
Yeah. And we'll talk about M3GAN now. And how did you find out about this project and how did you end up applying for the role? I suppose would be the first question.
So, my agent, one day she came to me with the audition and the script, and she asked, did we want to go for it? And we were like, yeah, of course. And she warned us that it was a horror movie, and we were like, yep, that's fine. And then we went for the audition, and it was so much fun, but it was a very short audition process. It was only about a week long. We started auditioning on the Monday, and then by the end of the week, I got offered the role, which was very exciting.
And maybe the fans might want to know, what exactly did the audition process consist of? What did you have to do?
So I had to say a couple of lines because even though Jenna's voice is over the top of mine in the movie, I still had to say them on set so everybody knew where they were up to. So I was saying the lines and I showed them a little robot walk that I thought M3GAN would be like, and then they asked me to dance, which was very exciting because that's something I love to do, and I got to show them what I could do, and I was very excited about that. And that was on the second audition when I met Gerard, and then at the end of the week, I found out I got the job.
Did you think going into this that your dancing would play such a significant part in actually getting the role, or was that something that came as a surprise to you?
That came as a very big surprise because when we first started auditioning, we thought it had nothing to do with dance. We thought it was a robot that had nothing to do with dancing. But then
Yeah.
they asked me to do a dance in the audition, which was really surprising to me. I was not expecting that, but dance has actually really helped me be in the role of M3GAN, because even though you don't really realize it, a lot of the stuff that you do in dancing, M3GAN takes on, because we do isolating and dancing, she does isolating, and it's just really crazy how much dance is actually a big part of my character.
Did you find then that when you done that audition and were able to dance for people, were you confident in your mind that you could get this role?
Yes, I was confident, but I was really hoping that I got it. But we didn't know that I was going for the role of M3GAN, so
Yes.
we thought I was going for like a little
Extra.
role, and then yeah, an extra role, and then we only found out when I got offered the job that it was for M3GAN, which I was really surprised about, because we didn't think we were going for M3GAN, but when I found out, I was so happy. It took me a while to like process that I've gotten the role, and I'm still kind of processing that I've been a part of M3GAN. It's still very crazy to me.
Yeah. And for people that might not know about the masks that you had to wear on set for the role as well, do you want to tell people about them? Because that's pretty interesting.
So there was a whole variety of masks that they had, but when I had the mask on, it had really limited vision, so I couldn't see very well. But I had a 30-minute time frame, because the more I was in the mask and the more I was breathing in it, the more the eyes would fog up, and then I couldn't see anything. So every 30 minutes I'd take it off, wipe it out, and then put it back on me. But there was three different types. There was a very, very soft mask, which was used for the stunts, and that had more cut out eyes so I could see more. So that was for stunts. And then there was the normal mask of M3GAN, and then they had this cut mask, which was really awesome.
Yeah. And can you tell me a little bit what it's like now? We'll say from your friends and family that are reacting to this thing. Like they mustn't have known that this was going to be such a huge thing. Like what was the reaction like from friends and family?
So my friends were always really supportive of me, and for the longest time, they didn't even know that I was doing a movie, because they just thought one day I left school, and they didn't know where I was, because I wasn't allowed to say where what I was doing
Yeah.
necessarily. But they, as soon as I came back, they were very surprised, and they were so happy for me. And when I told them, they were in pure shock. But they were so excited for me, and that was amazing. And my family, they were always really supportive of me, and it was very nice to have them there to see this happen.
Yeah, it must be so important and I'm trying to think of the word, but I suppose supportive is the word to have. Like your parents, I know your mom set up this interview for you, and they're really supportive of what you do. Like, so that really kind of puts you on the front foot, doesn't it? That your parents are behind you in your kind of journey.
Yeah, it's very nice to know that my mum, my brother, my dad, and my whole family they're always there for me, and they're so supportive of what I'm doing, and it's just nice to have them here.
Yeah. The movie drops, you got to go to all these premieres and stuff like that. Is that when it really kind of hit home?
Yeah, definitely, because as I think as soon as the trailer dropped, that's when it started, and me and my family were really amazed at how many people were doing the M3GAN dance, recreating it and posting it on social media. And I just think it's amazing. And I love to know that I, I'm an inspiration for people who want to do the dance. And I just love the idea that now M3GAN is such a big character.
Yeah. Yeah, I could tell you from someone that's been watching horror for a long time, and my horror interests, as I touched on when we talked before, were kind of Chucky, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, those kind of things. And now I feel like we're going into a new era, and I feel that the way the M3GAN film has dropped, that can kind of fit into a subcategory kind of horror, I suppose, villains, if you like, but much different than the movies that you probably haven't seen because you're not old enough. But would I say years ago, the Saw films and the Hostel, all these bloody kind of gory movies were coming out, and they were lacking that main character. And now I feel like your movie, and there was one that came out last year called Terrifier, which I hope you haven't seen.
No,
It's
I
pretty
haven't.
graphic, but you've probably heard about it from being in the circles, and that was kind of like a big movie as well. I feel like horror is kind of maybe changing again back to those character based things. So no matter what anyone says, you're a part of history now.
Yeah, that's amazing. I still can't believe that I've
Yeah.
been there. Like, it's crazy.
We're going to talk about, like, once we're on the subject of horror, you have been doing some conventions and stuff lately. So how weird or enjoyable is it to kind of rock up at these conventions and take photos with people and sign autographs? That must be kind of crazy. In the horror world, like, it's a big thing. Like, the horror community around the world is actually pretty small, and they're a very tight knit community. And these conventions are where people have a lot of fun and get to meet the fans as well.
So it was very exciting to meet everybody that goes to these horror conventions. They're all so nice, and you wouldn't expect some of them to be as kind as they are, because everybody's everyone's always welcoming and warm, and they're excited to have me, which makes me excited to be there. The first time I was there, though, it was a little overwhelming, but
Yeah.
everybody so nice and kind, which helped me a lot to do them. But I just like meeting a whole bunch of variety of people who love horror, because they're all so kind, and they have something in common because they all love to uh, see horror movies, and they all like to come to these Comic Cons to not only meet people from the movies but to also meet other horror fans, which I think is so amazing.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the M3GAN franchise, and I think there's possibly longevity to have more movies. Never say never in horror movies. Would you be open to obviously doing more of these movies if that opportunity became available to you?
Yeah, of course. I'd love to do more movies in the horror genre. That'd be so cool.
Mm. And apart from the horror genre as well, obviously you might have your sights set elsewhere as well. Is there any particular kind of movies that you would like to do
uh,
outside of horror?
I mean, I would very love to be in Stranger Things. I think that'd be a really cool experience to be.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like it may be plausible. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? In terms of your goals for the rest of this year, what have you got going on in your life? What's coming up?
Well, I've got a whole bunch of more Comic Con conventions to go to, but I just finished a Sweet Tooth season 2, and it's about to come out in April, which is very exciting. So you're gonna have to check that one out. And I've just yeah, we're hoping for more roles and more horrors.
Yeah, I think you may have got the horror bug now. That's what they call it, like, But then sometimes when people get into horror, they're only ever booked into horror movies. But I think like
Yeah.
that you've showed that you've got a range to be able to do more things outside that, particularly with the dancing as well. It's very important in movies. M3GAN, like, you have the dancing there, so that's another opportunity for many movies, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Look, nice quick conversation today. I really appreciate your time. I know it didn't work the first time, but I'm telling you now, it's after working this time. And
Yeah.
look, I'll put the links underneath to your stuff, to your social media, where people can find out what you're up to, making appearances. And I wish you nothing but success in the future. And hopefully, we'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much. It was nice to be here again today.
Thank you.